Hey guys, Scott Fishman here. Today we have a great guest, busy man, someone who's been all around right now with AEW, did his tour, just got home, is now about to hop on a plane to go to Triple Mania. You talk about a veteran who has done so much over his career, but he's still finding ways to have a first, and he's going to be in his first Triple Mania match. QT Marshall, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Scott, thank you for having me. Marshal Mania, that's what we're calling it. Marshal Mania, you
Yeah,
know?
Marshall Mania.
Uh, like you said, yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. This is something that, came up and thank you to Tony who was letting me do it because you got two contracted AEW talents working from different promotion, running a pretty big angle. And, so I'm very excited, but I think this will help me in my career overall, but also in my career and even in AEW, maybe kind of change the hardcore fans' mindset. I'm trying to turn them a little bit piece by piece, but those who know, but a lot of them don't. So it is what it is.
Right, for sure. And you spoke about the build for this matchup, Pentagon Jr., someone who fans know from AEW, of course, but very big in Mexico, of course, with Lucha Libre. Talk about just how you feel. I think you described it as the biggest match of your career, or I think I saw it on social media. You definitely been preparing for it as far as getting in, top shape.
Ooh,
So take me
yeah,
through with the weight of this, the pressure that you're feeling, and what this really means to you.
yeah. I mean, so of course, in AEW, it's a little harder due to my backstage role, and just being able to climb that ladder is a lot harder, and it's not something that I really focus on as much as people want to think, probably, just because of my backstage role. So I've always been, trying to figure out, okay, well, how can I get to the next level? How can I, without playing politics or just asking Tony, because we work together every week, so one of the ways was, hey, well, why don't I try to get out there and do more stuff? And I've never been an indie like type guy. I just haven't, and the schedule, I'm very modest about what I could command for a rate for independent work. So I always try to attach a seminar and whatever. So long story short, I started doing New Japan of America, New Japan Strong. And, doing New Japan kind of helped me get a little, kind of helped me get some better matches under my belt and some stuff, some big angles, and I got to wrestle Kenta and stuff like that. So it really helped me. But then New Japan Strong really hasn't been doing as much, and then this opportunity came, and Penta and I, we haven't really always seen eye to eye, but at the same time, I think this is something that we both realize, okay, this could be something really good, right? I think the biggest thing more than anything is a lot of good guys just want to wrestle bad guys. It is what it is. You know what I mean? They don't want to. It's the same reason I was able to wrestle CM Punk in 2021. He just wanted to wrestle a bad guy in his hometown. So this was something that we kind of talked about. I talked about it with AAA and what could we do? How can we do stuff like this? And, without breaking that wall down, it was just one of those things of like, okay, well, what is the issue? And the issue is the truth. The truth is, that Penta and Phoenix had no idea who I was when I was sitting in the office while they were negotiating. And they asked me to leave. I was highly offended. You know what I mean? And it was just one of those things that, okay, well, and that's what the story we're telling is that, I made it a personal matter to make sure that, I ruined his life. And I can't do it in AEW. So I did it in his hometown in AAA.
And it's an ambulance match, so that's kind of a unique kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, talk about just the meaning behind that.
So I've had a lot of firsts for myself, but I've also had a lot of firsts for AEW. And now this will be the first for AAA. It's the first ever ambulance match for AAA. It's at Triple Mania, which is headlined obviously by Kenny versus Vikingo. So it's a huge opportunity, but it's something that I'm excited about. Like I said, in AEW, Paul White's first match, Brody Lee's first match, the first ever bunkhouse match, the first ever Dynamite with fans again. Like I was in the first ever match there, So like there's been a lot of things that I can hang my hat on and say I was the first. This is very exciting for me. A little scary because I think it's gonna show a different side of myself, but also a different side of what I'm willing to do to someone else. We don't really get to show that on AEW as much. And I think this is going to be, not for the faint at heart, as they say.
And it's a singles match. I mean, that makes it even more meaningful. I mean, usually you see trios matches or group match. You're seeing
Yeah,
some of that on the card, but the fact that it was originally a tag team match, but this turned into a one-on-one
yeah. I
because
think
the story
the
behind it.
right. I think the personal matter, kind of spoke for itself in the sense of, and I said it when I did my promo. I don't need anyone. I don't want anyone with me. I don't care for those other guys. Laredo Kid. There's nothing. I don't have anything against them, but I don't need them in my way. And at the same time, the schedule I have for me to do this in my mindset, I want to be presented as a big star, right? I want the chance at least, and let's see what happens. You know what I mean? I feel like we're gonna give the fans their money's worth. So
And you want to change the perception. What you have on AEW might be totally different. What we're going to see on July 15th.
it'll be totally different. I can guarantee that. If you've never watched me on AEW or you've watched me all the time, this will be a completely different QT Marshall, and something that I've really tried to tap into while I've been training. And like I've mentioned, I've been training really hard for something like this, working with different coaches on how to bring that viciousness out of me because it's in there. I just, it's very hard when you wear that collared shirt backstage with the logo on it to really tap into that. And I don't mean the QTV logo. I mean the AEW logo. It is very
Yeah.
hard to tap into that and not, have to, face those consequences and repercussions. So,
What I love about you is, you're one of the unsung heroes behind the scenes, but in front of the camera, subtly, we're seeing that as well. I mean, Harley Cameron just last night killed it with that music video, and we're slowly seeing her kind of grow and evolve as a character, and it's working with you. Aaron Solo, someone that I've seen on the South Florida independent scene in general, had opportunities here and there, but slowly kind of getting into it with the QTV. Just talk about especially with Harley, like she's become one of my favorites to watch now on AEW television. She's getting this platform. How is it kind of working with this talent? And, just like you're looking for this platform to shine, they are too. And you have this shared kind of dedication to making something work with QTV.
yeah. So originally that was an idea that just kind of sprung up with Tony and myself and a couple other people were in the room. And they said, hey, what if you did something similar to, what was the guy? Just Joe. And you're just there and that's who I am, right? I'm always the guy that connects the dots for everyone backstage. Hey, I got to talk to Tony. I got to talk to this person. I'm always the guy. But what if I had fun with it? What if I turned it around a little bit? And so we kind of thought about that. And then I said, Tony actually mentioned the movie Pop Star and how they make fun of TMZ. And I said, well, I think we could do this. And I think we could do it in a way where, we get other people's storylines over. So that was the original idea, the concept behind it. And without saying everything, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it was meant to eventually become an avenue to help Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs. It kind of got derailed a little bit. We had to, jump the gun and get to it a lot quicker. So we didn't really get to do the vignettes. And, QTV kind of just came from out of nowhere, right? So, and then I was put right with Powerhouse right away. So then it was like, all right, well, what are we doing now? How do we do this? What is this for? But it was always meant to help other talent, right? So when we do QTV, we have someone that helps us write out the stuff, and RJ City, he helps out. So he's one of those things that, like, I told him, hey, I like to. Of course, I'm the group leader, right? I'm the main guy, but at the same time, it's for them. Let them show character. So like, Solo, what can you do? Hey, well, I had this idea, but not sure. Do whatever. Like, the more outrageous, the better. And I know how this should be. I see all the comments. This should be on Rampage. This should be on. I don't care. Put it on whatever show we want to put it on. It don't matter to me. You know what I mean? It's giving the talent hopefully an outlet to, present themselves. And for Harley, for instance, we decided we needed a female in the group, right? And we went through a couple different females and talked about it and stuff. And then, she had done Dark for us once. And I saw her do the Adam Cole song with, Claudio and stuff. And I was like, man, this girl's pretty talented. And she can wrestle. right? Like we haven't seen it yet, but she can wrestle. And I said, let me kind of figure this out. And then when I saw that she could really sing like that, and then that rap, so I'm sure, it'll come out eventually. That took her 15 minutes to write. I said, hey, can you write a rap about the Acclaimed? And like she went to catering and came back within 15 minutes, had everything down. And it was just a freestyle. I was like, oh my goodness, like you're really talented. I even said to her, what are you doing here? Go on like America's Got Talent or something. Like why you want to get kicked in the face, So I thought it was really good. So that was something I really pushed for her to do with this stuff with the Acclaimed. Hey, can we really get this out there? We were just going to put it on social media. But then, of course, when other people saw it, they're like, no, this has to be on TV. Like, this is good. And she did it herself. We laid, of course, the clips of us, but she had her producer, everything. She did all of the whole music video herself.
Wow.
And then we just laid a couple of clips over top, which that's how our company is. The Darbies of the world, those people that go out and they do stuff themselves, it really helps them get over. And I mean, I just saw on Twitter, it has almost 450,000 views on the AEW on TNT. Like people, hey, whether they loved it or hated, they're talking about it, and that's what matters more than anything.
Yeah, and it falls, the whole QTV falls perfectly into, what we're seeing on social media. You got back and forth at one time with some people on Twitter. It gets the best of us sometimes, like without even realizing it. So
sure.
How has your kind of approach to social media maybe changed? What have you learned? What kind of lessons have you learned that you kind of pass along to younger talent?
So I have one thing that I live by, and it's just me. So my social media is me, the professional wrestler. Okay, it's not me, the vice president. It's not me, the human being. It is me, the professional wrestler. That's what I want people to see. I've only posted about my wife, my dog, and my car, but that's my bragging about my life, right? Like that's the character of who I am, and it just happens to be true. I feel that if you're going to be on social media, you don't want to say anything that isn't like you would if you wouldn't put it on TV. Don't say it. Doesn't really make sense. Now, when it comes to the people I've gone after on social, that was all because I knew where this character was going, right? And I knew that I was going to have the dirt sheet driver, and like I knew what was going on. No one else did, and everyone's going to have an opinion anyway. And like I said, I mean, the real reason that I'm with Powerhouse Hobbs, I know a lot of people don't like it, and yes, we've had some issues. Last week, he pushed me pretty hard, and but you'll see, I've handled it. It's okay. We'll be fine. There are reasons that people don't know and don't need to know why I'm with him and what it's going to do for him as a professional. Whereas if it was up to me, I wouldn't be with Powerhouse Hobbs. I wouldn't be with anybody. I'd be by myself. I'd be world champion, right? If I could write my own destiny. But that's not how it is. And I'm also, as selfish as this industry is, I try to be a little unselfish at the same time. And I do try to help everybody. And this QTV thing is a way to get Aaron Solo some more character exposure to really help him out, because he's a tremendous wrestler. But unfortunately, tremendous wrestler doesn't help as much as it could or should. So, hey, let's give him something. You know what I mean?
Something else, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have something else. And
character.
And even if it's silly and some people don't like it, listen, not everyone's gonna like everything. And at the end of the day, we're bad guys. Like, hate us, you know what I mean? And
as long as you have a reaction, that's what you want.
Right. And luckily, because I work in the office as well, I do get the ratings. And I will say this as humbly as possible, QTV always does a good rating. It always does. Whatever we do, whether it's a match, whether we do a little segment, it always does well. I think people want to see me get beat up, which is good. And we just can't let it happen all the time, So
yeah. One last thing I wanted to touch on is the Nightmare Factory.
Sure.
Doing so well. You even see, with Cody still very supportive of it. He just seems like takes time out, even with a busy schedule. You as well. It's a labor of love for everybody involved. You have some big names that come to visit, even still with everything going on. This is still going on. What do you see for the what we're seeing right now for the school and everything going on with it and in the future?
Yeah, I mean, so we teach out of passion. The money that comes into the school goes right back into the building. We own the building now, so we just pay the bills. I don't think either of us, we might buy a pair of boots once in a while or something, you know what I mean? But like that money goes right back into the building and back into the Nightmare Factory and Nightmare Fitness as well. We have a commercial gym that's attached, right? So you have best of both worlds. But we love to teach. Now, a lot of these kids aren't going to make it. That's just unfortunately the numbers of what professional wrestling brings. But it's our goal to try to get them ready and also give them the best experience possible. And I've learned more from Cody Rhodes, than I've learned in all the years that I've been training and paying people. Now, granted, that's not saying that my training wasn't good, because it was phenomenal, but you do need to learn from people that have been there. Right. It just helps. And so he's like the good cop. I'm more of the bad cop. I'm very, because that's how it was for me. I had people tell me, hey, it isn't easy. You have to do this stuff. You have to really, one of the things that I'll tell you something real quick. When someone tells me they want to be a professional wrestler, and they eat, live, and breathe professional wrestling, and then I ask them what their other hobbies are, and they say, I play video games. I always ask them this: what's your favorite video game? And then they tell me, Final Fantasy VII. Okay, cool. How does Final Fantasy VII go? And then they explain the whole entire game to me. I don't play those video games. I play Madden, whatever. I haven't played a video game in a year, but
not even Fight Forever. Come on.
Not yet. I haven't gotten to play it yet. So Evil Uno was supposed to set it up for me the other day, and we were in Canada, and I was just so busy I didn't get to play it. I want to play it.
We'll let you off.
Especially because the No Mercy thing, and that was my game.
Right.
But so they'll explain that, and then I'll say, okay, so what's your favorite wrestling match? And then they'll say Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, and I'll say, okay, what was the finish? Well, Mysterio won. I said, but how did he win? I think, and I'm like, you think? Yeah, he went for the top rope, the Hurricane Rana Cat 1, 2, 3, right? And oh yeah. I said, so now you're telling me that you want to be a professional wrestler, and you can't even tell me your favorite match, the finish. How much do you really care about this? And I'm not saying now I know that finish, and that's not my favorite wrestling match. But that's all I do is watch wrestling. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, because my wife probably can't stand the fact that we watch the same wrestling matches over and over and over. But it's my life. And I always tell them, if you want to have wrestling become your life, you need to kind of make it your life for a little while and sacrifice and struggle. And, and hopefully with our help, we can try to push you in the next, to the next step. And we have. I mean, we have a lot of people that are signed with AEW. Or they go to work at other places, independent promotions, stuff like that. And some are signed to Ring of Honor. It's a little harder now without AEW Dark, of course, because that was like a really good outlet for them to at least get to see what the real world of professional wrestling is like. But the school does really well. We're very thankful. I'm proud of what we were able to build in such a short time. But it is busy. It's hard with the schedule.
Wow. It's just incredible though with the school, and then now AEW has more programming, even more programming with Collision, and then the talks with potentially we'll see what happens with the future of the television shows. But it seems like the television partners are happy, so who knows how much more programming.
We
hear rumors of more pay-per-views or more big events. I mean, I don't know how that's going to go, but when you hear something like that,
I just saw that today. Sometimes I think, like, where do these guys get this information from? Like, but I know Tony does have a lot of friends, so who knows, But I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think more content better for everybody, especially for the industry as a whole. I can't lie and say that it was my dream to work in AEW, because growing up there was no AEW, but I'm sure thankful that there is an AEW, because not just for personal reasons. I mean, just for the entire industry. I mean, it really did. The revolution that these guys started meaning Bucks, Cody, Kenny, these guys, and then Tony signing off on, hey, let's take a chance. Like, this was really incredible, and it really has changed a lot of people's lives for the better. And that's, just the best part of what's going on. You have a lot of people out there living their dream, getting paid to do so. So it's very exciting. Like I said, I mean, we got, All In coming up. Like, that's nuts. But I'm taking it one day at a time. Let's see what happens.
Or else you'll overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Every week just seems like craziness. And then you somehow are fitting TripleMania, the biggest match of the year, and all this. So, it's a lot.
And my birthday's Sunday. So I plan on coming home from TripleMania Sunday morning. I'll fly back. And I plan on celebrating and having one of the biggest birthday celebrations after, hopefully, doing what I plan on doing, and that is beating Pentagon Jr. in Mexico at TripleMania on the biggest stage. Then I'm gonna come home and enjoy my 38th birthday. So yeah, if anyone's asking, I see on Twitter all the time people think I'm in my 60s and 50s, but I'll be 38.
Well, July's a good birthday month to have. So it's good. Yeah. All right. Well, as anything you want to let fans know where they can follow you? Of course, TripleMania is this weekend. You can catch it on Fight TV. I know they had a bundle with the various TripleMania events. Of course, AEW, all the shows that you have. But anything else that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, I mean, just here's one thing I always tell everybody. If you enjoy what we do, if you love AEW, if you love wrestling, as for whatever company you enjoy, don't keep it here. Tell everybody. You know what I mean? Like those parties back in the day that I'm sure you used to have when pay-per-views were on.
Yeah.
It never was, we sat on our, we didn't have a computer. We didn't have a phone to just go on Twitter during the show. We hung out with our friends. Everyone paid. They chipped in. They bought, which isn't good for business-wise, but hey, it's better when you.
Or you might have had a scrambler. I mean, I'm not saying I was one of those people, but
yeah. But at the end of the day, it really helped out because then there was more people watching, and of course, the more people watching, just the better off it is. And I really think that wrestling is in a great boom period right now. There's a lot of great stuff, and if you're a fan of wrestling, doesn't matter what kind of wrestling you enjoy. I think there is, whatever you're enjoying, there is something like that out there right at the moment. So,
amen. All right. Well, thank you so much, QT. Good luck this weekend. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to all that's coming up. So appreciate the time.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you.